Awesome.
Hey, Michael, how's things?
Great, man. Just excited to have a fight booked and excited to be on Fight Island.
Yeah, I mean, how nice is it knowing that you're going through this whole weight cut and you're actually gonna get a fight this time, unlike last time round?
It's nice, I mean, I would never say that the previous trip to Abu Dhabi was all for naught. It was definitely not a waste. It was definitely a productive trip for me, a great introduction to who I am. But this one, there's obviously the stakes are higher, and there's an actual prize at the end, which will be, stepping into that octagon with a very formidable opponent in Dan Hooker, and I'm excited to go out there and compete.
Just on Dan, what do you make of him as an opponent to test yourself against UFC level guys?
He's the perfect guy to test myself against. Obviously, when I came into the organization, by no choice of my own, we wanted to get a top five guy right away. That was Dana's wishes. That was the UFC's wishes. And we went through a bunch of different names. Dan Hooker's name was always in the mix because he is a tough guy, and he can take damage. He can dish it out. He's got phenomenal attributes as a fighter. He's long, he's tall, he's rangy, he's dangerous, and he's a guy. He's a perfect measuring stick to see where I line up here in the lightweight division, and I'm excited to go out there and compete against him.
Just from Dan's end, it sounds like you've been his probable opponent for a while, but for yourself, sounds like they've tried to get you matched with another couple of guys like Gaethje and Charles Oliveira. Has that been sort of a distraction at all for you preparing for this fight?
Um, Not really, because honestly, I focus 80% at least. I focus 80% attention on myself, my game, my physical strengths, weaknesses, attributes. How can I put myself in the best situation possible to be successful on fight night, whether it's Dan Hooker, Khabib, or anybody in between in that top five, top six. So, Dan Hooker's name was always in the mix. He was always a guy that I thought could be the guy that I stepped into the octagon with my first time fighting in the UFC. Um, but of course, there were other guys available. So when there's other guys available, you're always trying to figure out what the best matchup may be, what the best date may be, and then here we are. I'm excited about the matchup, and January 23rd, here we come.
Excellent, man. Just finally from me, a lot of people have suggested that Dan's probably the worst possible matchup stylistically for you in the top five. How do you feel about suggestions like that?
I definitely see that they could be warranted, but I mean, I didn't come to the UFC for easy fights. I didn't come here to tiptoe around. I didn't sign with this promotion to not put myself in line to prove my skill set is worthy of getting the title shot here in 2021. Dan Hooker is that first name on that list. He is a nightmare matchup for a lot of guys, with his physical attributes, with his willingness to engage, his toughness inside the octagon. He's a tough guy, but that's what gets me excited. This is the first time I've been an underdog since 2011, and that gets me excited. That gets me it gets me pumped up. It gets me excited to go out there and compete. And I believe that pressure and this platform is going to bring out the best in myself, my skill set, my game, and that's all you can ask for as an athlete. You want to be under the brightest lights, the biggest stage, and the biggest platform possible. Because when that octagon door closes, some questions will get answered, and I'm glad it's Dan Hooker.
Sweet, man. Thanks a lot for your time. All the best for the weekend, eh?
Yes, sir. Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Chris. I'm going to throw now to Daniel Gardner.
Yeah, Dan, thanks so much for your time. I mean, beyond this fight, I mean, have you got aspirations to fight Khabib, or will you be looking to call out Conor if you were able to get the win this weekend?
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. Everyone's on the table. When Dan Hooker's sitting at number six. If Khabib's not in the mix, he's at number five. So it puts me right in that mix of that top five in the world. I believe a win over Dan Hooker will probably put me at number five. And we've seen guys ranked inside the top five who weren't number one, weren't number two, getting that title shot. You know, I think I pose a lot of threats to Khabib's style, and I pose a lot of threats to Conor's style as well. But there's no doubt that obviously myself and Dan Hooker being in this position, co-main event for Conor and Poirier, puts us, it directly ties us to them and their performance and their names moving forward after this fight, after this performance. And that's my goal, is to go out there and put on a dominant performance so people immediately make my name synonymous with the winner of that main event.
Fantastic. And just with your transition to Abu Dhabi and Fight Island, has the approach to your training and conditioning been any different in the lead up to the fight with the restrictions around?
No, I've done this before. I've been here on Fight Island once before, so I kind of knew what to expect. We got this 2-day quarantine that we have to get through. The only hiccup that kind of happened was we were stuck in Vegas an extra day and a half, which, you know, was not ideal, but it's also something you just figured out. You know, today after waking up early, starting to get adjusted to the time zone, working out this morning, getting a nice hard workout in, a nice sweat in, weight's where I want it to be, nutrition's on point, my mentally, physically, and spiritually, I'm in a great spot. So it's a great opportunity, the biggest opportunity in my life. So how can you not take advantage of it? How can you not be excited and pumped up about it? So I can't be shooken this week. You know, it's an opportunity of a lifetime, and I'm excited to go out there and compete.
Excellent. And just quickly, you mentioned being here before. I mean, do you think that gives you like a slight advantage over Dan, like being that you've had the experience on the island?
You know, I would, in hindsight or on the surface, I would say yes. But man, Dan Hooker is a professional. He's got a long career. He's an intelligent guy. He's a smart guy. He's a disciplined guy. He lives the life of a champion. So he's the kind of guy that you can throw him into any scenario, and he's going to come out smelling like a rose on the other side. So similar to myself. So that's what gets me excited. You know, two guys with champion mindsets getting put on a huge platform to compete against each other. It's my debut. It's him kind of carrying the torch for the guard of the UFC lightweights, and we're going to see where I stack up right away. But I don't see any hindrances, you know, for a guy like Dan Hooker who lives the kind of life that he does. He knows how to win. He knows how to show up. He knows how to make weight. He knows how to train. He knows how to navigate these UFC fight weeks. So I expect to see the best version of Dan Hooker January 23rd.
Excellent. Thank you so much, mate. Have a great show on the weekend. Good luck.
You got it. Thanks, Daniel. I'll see you.
All right.
Thanks, Dan. I'm going to go now to Brendan Bradford from Sporting News.
Hey, Michael, how you going?
Good.
Just thinking back to that, you know, the weight cut that you did last year and the experience of Fight Week that you had last year. Just wondering, like, is there anything different between a UFC sort of Fight Week experience and a Bellator one, or, you know, at this stage, is it all, you know, been there, done that, and, you know, you sort of take it all in stride?
Yeah, you definitely want to take it all in stride, you know, especially this event. You know, I was actually just speaking to my manager this morning, who I'm rooming with, and we were kind of talking about the eyeballs, the notoriety, the intrigue of this fight card, a Conor McGregor pay-per-view against Dustin Poirier, who is one of the best in the world. So it's much bigger. You know, it's a lot of the same stuff. Of course, it's media. Of course, it's working out to get your weight down. It's checking in. It's, you know, now in the age of coronavirus, it's, you know, seemingly dozens of coronavirus tests, you know, getting the swab stuck in your throat every day. But it's a lot of the same stuff. It's just a lot bigger. It's a lot more intensive. It's a lot more worldwide. You know, as we see right now, speaking to you guys from Australia and New Zealand, which obviously there's a interest there because of where Dan is one of your fellow countrymen, of course. But it's just bigger, and it's there's more things to do, but I take it all in stride. You know, I've enjoyed this career. I believe God has put me on this platform for a lot of different reasons, and that's to reach as many people as I possibly can. So I take these things in stride and all the extra obligations in stride, even though, of course, the most important thing is showing up on fight night and making weight the day before, obviously, but all this stuff is very enjoyable. So it's very similar to my past fights, but this is just a lot bigger.
And in terms of, just thinking about some of the other guys that have come over to the UFC with big profiles already, rather than being built within the UFC, guys like Eddie Alvarez and Justin Gaethje, is there anything you've been able to pick up or learn from their sort of early career in the UFC?
I think, Eddie obviously was a former opponent of mine. Justin Gaethje was a guy that I was very interested in seeing where he was going to go back when he said he was leaving World Series of Fighting. And it was interesting. I think just like Justin Gaethje, just like Eddie, just like anybody who comes over from another organization. I mean, it's no secret. I mean, I'm similar to those guys, but those guys were world-class athletes. They were world champions in their own right. It wasn't just another signing for the UFC. It wasn't just another free agent signing for the UFC. It was a big free agent signing. So there's a lot of interest, a lot of intrigue, and a lot of, I guess, expectations and interest in how they are going to pan out. Obviously, Eddie came in, became champion. Justin Gaethje was so close to becoming champion. He was an interim champion, and now he's ranked number 1, number 2, right after Khabib. So these guys coming in have a lot to prove. These guys coming in, there's a lot of eyeballs on them and seeing how they're going to perform. And I realize that. So I realize the weight of that responsibility to come in and prove my supporters right and prove the doubters wrong. And most of all, just prove myself right, that I believe that I can hang with these guys. And Dan Hooker's that perfect first test. The co-main event on UFC 257, live and free on live on pay-per-view, is absolutely the best platform possible, and it's exciting. It's the perfect way to insert myself into the lightweight division and announce myself into the UFC lightweight division.
And just finally from me, and leading on from that, win this weekend, where do you think that puts you in the sort of lightweight division story at the moment? I mean, there's a lot of sort of uncertainty with what Khabib's going to do and the belt and everything. Where do you think a win this weekend puts you?
Yeah, there is. So we got the intrigue around Khabib, what he's going to do. Are we all going to show up and be spectacular enough for him to come out of him thinking he's going to stay retired? Charles Oliveira looked great a couple weeks ago. Justin Gaethje needs to get a win if he wants to smell that, sniff that title shot again. Then you're going to see Conor and Poirier and me and Dan Hooker get after it. So there's going to be a lot of clarity after this coming weekend. I think Tony Ferguson's on a 2-fight skid. Dan Hooker will be on a 2-fight skid if I beat him. So you got to rank me ahead of both of those guys. So I think I'll be ranked number 5, if not number 4, after this win on Saturday night. And any of us in that top 5 could end up with a title shot. Who knows? Obviously, the promoters, Dana, the UFC, they know what they're doing. They know how to run the biggest mixed martial arts platform on the entire planet. So I just got to go out there and make my case. And the only way I do that is go out there and have a dominant victory over Dan Hooker.